Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I would like to share with you an interesting game played by 12-year-old Mikhail Tal. His opponent is 15-year-old Josif Zilber, and this game was played in 1949 in Riga. But before starting the game, would like to read a small reference from Mikhail Tal's book, The Life and Games of Mikhail Tal. Here's what Tal writes about this game. The game given below was played in the championship of the Riga Palace of Pioneers, just at the time when the golden age of young Latvian chess players was beginning. I remember correctly, Ivar Skipslis and Yanis Kloans, who were to become quite well-known masters within a few years, played in the palace while I was making my usual unsuccessful attempt to obtain first category rating. On looking through the following game, it will be easy to see why this attempt was unsuccessful. Now, without further ado, let's go for the game and see what happened on the board. Mikhail Tal opened up with e4 and e6 by Josif Zilber. Black goes for French defense, d4, d5, and knight d2. Tal is choosing the Tarrasch variation c5, which is the main response. He takes d5, queen takes d5. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, queen h5, d takes c5, bishop takes c5, knight e4, knight e7. Usually this leads to a quiet game, but now we will see how 12-year-old Mikhail Tal manages to sharpen the game. Bishop g5. Already the bishop is hanging with queen g4. In return, black wants to win white bishop, queen d3. Black is forced to protect his bishop, and with castling queenside. Well, instead of castling queenside, Tal is missing an easy win. He could play h3 in order to trap the black queen. Now if queen h5 then g4, if queen g6 then knight h4, the game is over. Or after h3, if queen takes g2, then only now castling queenside, and if bishop takes f2 this time, bishop takes e7 can be very unpleasant, and if a move like castling kingside, then rook g1, and again black is losing his queen. But in our game, after b6 we have castling queenside, and in return black castled kingside. In here again, it was not too late to go for h3, but instead Tal played bishop f6. Here is what Tal writes about this move. Instead of capturing the queen, the variation given in the previous note still works. White gives away a piece. No doubt the idea of placing the bishop and price appeared so tempting that other possibilities did not occur to me. Actually, this sacrifice is incorrect, but now let's see. Can black manage to make use of that fact? Of course, now you can't accept the sacrifice because of this knight takes f6 fork. That's why after bishop f6, black first moved away his queen from g4 square, announced a check, and only then accepted the sacrifice. Black is simply a piece up, but from now on Tal is starting to launch his attack. As he managed to somewhat weaken black's kingside, he will try to make use of that fact. He first played g3, and after queen h6 we have g4. Yes, this g-pawn is marching forward. White wants to open up the g-file and target black king. Queen f4, g5, f takes g5, knight takes g5, knight g6, and this time we have h4, knight b4, queen h3, e5, queen g2, and bishop f5. This is a mistake which allows white to gain advantage. Instead of bishop f5, it was better to play king h8. Move away the king from this dangerous g-file, and if h5, then simply knight h4. But instead, in our game, after queen g2, we have bishop f5 and h5. King g7. Black is giving away his knight, but even if you try to save it, then you won't manage to save the game. Knight takes f7, check is coming, and if bishop g4, then rook h4. White is winning. In our game, after h5, we have king g7, and simply h takes g6. h6, black is trying to keep the king side closed, is attacking white knight, but this time Mikhail Tal landed another punch. Bishop takes f7. Look at this. Well, instead of playing bishop takes f7, capturing on h6 is also winning. A beautiful rook sacrifice. The idea is that if king takes h6, then this time white queen is joining the attack from h1 square, and then white can announce a checkmate. or after h6, even knight e6 check is winning. If f takes e6, then this time the rook can join the attack, and then g7, and yes guys, it's over. If rook f7, then knight f6 can be very beautiful, aligned with two knight sacrifices. If rook takes f6, then queen takes a8. But in our game, after h6, we have bishop takes f7, rook takes f7, and g takes f7. In return, black finally won the knight on g5, and we have knight takes g5. The threat is knight takes e6 double check, queen takes f2. As you can see, the rook on a8 is also hanging, but capturing it can be dangerous because you can even get checkmated. If king a1, then black can bring into life this mating, smothered mating idea, and can checkmate white king. A beautiful defensive resource by black. That's why after queen takes f2, Tal announced a double check by playing knight e6. King takes f7 and queen g7 check. Tal is also allowing black to win his second knight, and rook h6 check. I have already forgot how many sacrifices we saw in our game. Bishop g6, a desperate attempt, and queen takes g6 check. King e7, rook h7 check. Black king is in a mating net and there is no escape. King f8, and finally we have a checkmate on the board. Look at this. A nice game by 12-year-old Mikhail Tal. He went for a very daring, although an inaccurate sacrifice, but his opponent failed to find the best defense, and Tal won the game in a beautiful style. In the end, a beautiful quote by Tal: "There are two types of sacrifices, correct ones and mine." Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this game. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. Also, press the bell button to get notified about new uploads. I will see you in my next video. Good luck.